Meeting. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our CEC April meeting. Today's Wednesday, April 3rd. It is 7:06 p.m. We have 7 members present tonight, along with, of course, our interim superintendent, Dr. Mike Dantona. We need one more member to be present in order to have quorum so that we can move forward to approve the February minutes that we weren't able to approve last month due to lack of quorum. And we also have to approve March minutes. So we will move on. And we will come back to the minutes. Welcome Shane Miller from Councilwoman Sandra Ng's office. Hi Shane, how are you? We have Jamila Uden from our Assembly Member Rosick office. We have Sue Jin from our Senator John Liu's office. Welcome. If I missed anyone, any of our local politicians or council member, I apologize, but if you want to say a few words, say hi, you're welcome to. Okay, so we're gonna do the roll call. You want to do it?
Sure. Wingyu,
Present.
not present. Frank Chow,
He is
not here
late.
yet. Okay. Joseph Chow,
Present.
Bob Razorek,
Present.
Alvin Hung,
Present.
Shirley Lee,
Late.
Catherine,
Present.
John Stewart,
Present.
Karam Kashid.
Present. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Although
I'm
he is-
actually breaking my fast. It's Ramadan now, so I'm so sorry about that. It's just a religious thing this month's going on.
All right, and Jocelyn Chen,
she's absent. Okay, all right. So I will actually give the floor to you first, Dr. Mike, to give us the superintendent report.
hey,
Oh. Can you pull that chair for Shirley when she gets here?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we actually have quorum now. Frank Chow is present. So you need a few minutes or should we?
Whatever you like.
Okay. So since we have quorum now, let's review the February and March minutes. I'll give,
Stop sharing. Stop sharing.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so the February minutes and March minutes are in front of you. Eden was nice enough. She typed up the March minute, because, our administrative assistant Carly is no longer with us. And Eden did a really great job. It was very detailed minutes, so my,
Thank you, Eve.
yeah.
no problem.
So let's review the February minutes first. I'll take any motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Eden, motion to approve February minutes. Anyone second? John and Bob second. Okay. February meeting minutes approved. So let's move on to the March minutes.
How easy.
It's long,
Maybe
it's
you
very.
got to do while you're gone.
Wow.
You
I certainly am not questioning these minutes.
have big shoes to fill.
I
Like, you have to
know,
take the-
I
Let's see what
know.
happens about that.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah,
For my record, because I'm.
Yeah. I have a copy of it I can send you.
Good.
Okay. Okay, any motions? Okay, Catherine, motion to approve, John second, Alvin, okay. So March, general meeting minutes approved. Okay, so I turn back to you, Dr. Mike,
Sure.
sorry.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good to see all of you guys. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to go through a few things tonight just to make sure that you guys are aware of some upcoming things. Also talk about a few things that have happened in March, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page with where we're going as a district currently. So just so you guys are aware of this, as all of you are probably aware, just hit mute on the top.
Yes. Got
As I'm sure all of you guys are aware, Monday, the 8th, there will be partial solar eclipse. All things that are part of our school system are going to remain the same. There is not going to be any change in terms of timing with dismissal. Things in terms of after school are going to remain. One of the things that we are asking all of our schools to do with our kids is use this as a real opportunity to engage in some lessons around science and the importance of understanding all things around us, particularly the solar eclipse, which is not a common occurrence. But on top of that, it's also about making sure that everyone is aware of just protecting themselves, during, an event like this, particularly for our young kids, making sure that they're not staring, at the sun during the time of the eclipse, just as a prevention space of, for them. So, there are a variety of resources that are available on the state website that has been made accessible also to our schools, making sure that they are equipped with instructional space for our kids, but also there are likely to become letters that are going to be sent home to our families, just kind of advising them around what it is to expect and the things that they should be mindful of. As parents, it's not a usual time, especially for our little ones, likely to be a little bit off guard when it does start, when daylight starts changing at that time of the day. So just sort of an awareness thing for our families, just to keep themselves abreast of what's going on. So you're likely to hear something from your schools, likely tomorrow, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page with the solar eclipse. Summarizing, just a reminder, March 25th was the deadline. So bless you. There has not been any talk of reopening said application. So at this time, if you have not applied, you can certainly continue to do some outreach, and if they do, then we will let you know. If your child does not get entry into one of the programs, they do have a wait list. They very well may open up more seats as time goes on. However, those decisions around enrollment are accompanied with the amount of space that the community-based organizations can also hold in the afternoon. So it does go hand in hand with the number of applicants that they're able to take into the program. But just so that everyone knows that window has come and gone, there are more details on the city site for Summer Rising. Our schools, and we have 11 of them that will be available this summer for kids across our district to participate, supporting thousands of children in District 25. District parent survey, in the event that you have not seen it, this was sent out to our district community via Gamma. so that we can get some additional feedback from our parents. Thus far, we have over 1,000 responses, which is great. I would love more.
Yeah.
So, the more that we can share that out there, the better off we will be, because then we can have conversations around it here, but also at our district leadership team meetings around what does that mean? What does the information mean from our folks? So the survey link is present here. Louis, can you also add it to the chat? If you could, we'll add it to the chat also so that any of our folks that are on that do not have this presentation in front of them can access it as well. A couple of initial noticings from the survey. So we asked 8 questions. Each of them were connected to a few things that were important to me. 2 of them being around Mind Up. Have parents been offered an opportunity to engage in a Mind Up training, and HMH. Some of the things here that are concerning to me is that 60+% of families indicated that have had the opportunity, but that means that 40% either said they are not sure or disagree with that statement. So to me, that calls out an important question around how are we making sure that all families are fully aware that these opportunities do exist. Because what was interesting, it wasn't just specifically to a school where that was said. So same schools where we had parents said that, yes, I've been offered that opportunity, with other parents in the same school saying, no, I have not been given that opportunity. So it's for me, it's important data around how do we make sure that that message is being received by all members in our district community, so that everyone's taking advantage of getting a clear understanding as to the programs that we're offering inside of our schools. We had 85 to 90, and the reason why I'm saying 85 to 90 is because this was broken down into 3 segments for families that answered in English, families that answered in Chinese, families that answered in Spanish. So I have 3 ranges of data that I have to merge. I'm not going to merge it until I feel comfortable with saying that we're going to close the survey, which we'll do probably in a couple of weeks, only because the New York City school survey is also happening now. So the timing was not great for that, but I do want to give more chances for our families to respond to this. But 85 to 90% of families said they felt comfortable engaging with their school. Less than 2% disagreed entirely. So that means the vast majority of that 1,000 agree that they are able to feel comfortable connecting with their school. 84 to 94% of families feel like they are given opportunities and updates around their child's progress. Similar findings were around whether or not they feel they're being well communicated with as a parent. 89% of families indicated that they've been communicated with regarding the importance of attendance, which are all things that are connected to our district expectations and goals. While 1,000 folks is great, what would be even better would be 10,000 folks that were able to respond, so that we can establish some clear patterns and trends amongst our families, and then really action plan around it. 1 or 2 families saying no is different from 100 families saying no. And that's really what I want to be able to dig down into and get a clearer picture to support our action planning. So as CEC members, but certainly as any parents that are on here, I'm going to message this out to our President's Council as well. The more feedback that we get, the better choices that we can make, especially because the space around parent engagement is directly connected to our work with our district leadership team. So the information we gather from here allows us to action plan differently from the DLT. So the more feedback that we get here, the better. And I encourage you folks to get that message out as much as you can too. I would appreciate that. As you guys know, testing season is just around the corner. Next week begins the New York State ELA assessment for grades 3 to 8. That will be held on April 11th and 12th. Just as a reminder, there is a window for our students that are taking computer-based testing. So that window stretches beyond the 11th and 12th, but that's when the opportunity for those state tests begin. For mathematics, that begins May 7th and 8th for grades 3 to 8. New York State Science Test, grade 5 and grade 8, schools will select consecutive administration date within the main administration window, which is May 15th through the 17th. So our kids have been working hard. Schools have been working hard to make sure that our kids are ready to go. And I know that at times this does create a little bit of stress and anxiety for our kids, but sometimes even more so our parents. The goal of these assessments is to make sure we have an understanding as to where our children are in relationship to standards, so that we can plan differently moving forward in the event we see certain things in those outcomes that require us to make some really strategic changes. So really important that all of our kids are participating in these assessments moving forward. Anyone have any questions about the state assessments before I move on?
Can I go back to the survey?
Yep.
Okay, I did some searching, questioning after the last meeting here. Spoke to maybe 20 parents. It seems like they were educated. If they had a college education, then they can read the complicated character.
Mhm.
Whereas the parents who finish middle school can't. I think you need about 3,500 from China, 3,500 characters to be able to, function, in terms of literacy.
So you're talking about literacy rates of the folks that are taking it?
No. I'm saying I think, don't quote me on the numbers, but more than 2,000 characters were changed. So the ones who just finished middle school cannot read them.
Mhm.
So I asked them, what do you do with the letter? They go throw it in the trash.
Mhm.
So the response
Survey.
rate, your low rate
Might skew the
could be
rate.
because they just see the Chinese, they couldn't read it.
Yeah, so I mean, that very well may be. Interestingly, the survey's current results show that there's just as many Chinese-speaking folks completed it as our English-speaking folks. So I don't know necessarily if that's a reality. It may be. We can certainly follow up with an email to families too, to kind of gather some additional perspective, unless you have some other ideas around how we connect, with families where that might be a problem. I'm certainly open to ideas around, how to better communicate if it wasn't being received from that email. But initial outcomes show that similar numbers for both our Chinese and our English speaking families completed that. Whether that means anything, it's hard to tell. But if it's a problem with whatever is being received, certainly have those families contact the office, district office, and we'll start organizing around it. Okay, that's an important one. Thanks, Joe. Any other were there any testing questions before I move on? Okay. New York City Kids Rise, Safe for College program. As you know, that's something that's part of District 25 work that we're promoting, across our district, just as an opportunity to begin establishing a savings account for our youngest of learners that will travel with them all the way through high school, beginning in kindergarten. So grades K through 2, and some of our team members were actually responsible for helping organize the curriculum that is used for the Kids Rise program. So it's an investment opportunity for our kids, scholarship and savings program that supports the college and career training futures for our New York City public school students. There is a link there that brings you to New York City Kids Rise. I do know that in some cases our parent coordinators are really pushing this. At times it's welcome, at other times not so much, because it does involve giving some information out that some may be nervous about. But there's plenty of support that comes from our parent coordinators, including Esther, who's very aware of the New York City Kids Rise program. For any folks that are concerned about those types of things, we can help them, help guide them through that process. As over time that those funds do accumulate, and it creates an opportunity for families to have access to additional dollars that can help support college moving forward. Yeah.
What is the program itself just an information thing?
So the program basically is for families that are interested. They have to activate an account through New York City Kids Rise. And when they activate this account, it basically, I think it's $100 start.
Every student in grade K every year, unless the parents opt out, automatically get the 529 account created for them,
Right.
and the money is deposited for
Okay.
them.
So,
And then all they have to do is activate their account so they can monitor it. If they want to add their own funds to it, they can. And schools can. do
Schools can fundraise,
fundraisers
and then the money goes,
deposit to
it
the
can be
account.
deposited into
Yeah.
student accounts.
Oh.
okay, so the New York Kids Rise is an additional source of funds
Correct.
other than what
The
the parents.
initial,
correct.
and then sometimes they do additional
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
deposits.
So it's not just opening at 529, but it's actually getting some free money.
Yeah, oh,
Correct.
yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to remind families that this is there.
That it's accessible
Yeah.
and, for our district, the number of folks that are taking advantage of it is not as significant as it probably could be.
Yeah.
So, it's $100 starting place and then built over the course of a student's academic career creates an opportunity to have, an additional amount of money that's available to them when college comes around or career comes around. So something that we just wanted to make sure that we were sharing out there, more widely from this perspective of sharing it here at the CEC. And then it's open to parents, to really choose as to whether or not they will or will not, activate the account. But as I said, whoa,
Oh,
what happened?
I'll fix it.
Is that you taking over the computer, Louis?
oh, we're still here. Okay, awesome.
So anyway, it's an opportunity that we want to just continue to make sure folks are aware of across our district. Just a couple of recap spaces. March was Women's History Month, International Women's Day. Big shout out to all of the women in, not only our historical figures, but our women that help basically run all things. I don't know what I would do without my wife, and certainly without without my mom. So, big shout out to all the women in our lives for all the work that they do for our family. So yes, give that big shout out there, Wendy. Ramadan began on March 10th, concludes on April 9th, I believe. St. Patrick's Day, Purim, Holy, and Easter. So for all of our families that celebrate these holidays, I'm hoping that you were able to enjoy with your family and friends during that time. And I just wanted to make sure that we recognize that today. The week of March 3rd through 9th was School Social Worker Week. Just big shout outs to them for all the work that they do, particularly Wing from our team, who just does amazing work for our district. So big shout out to Wing. Civics Week, this was really, really great work, across our schools from, promoting, student voice and civic empowerment. There were special events where there were assemblies, campaigns, community cleanups, and the like. Big shout out to Melinda from our team, who heads up the Civics for All work in our district. Our kids really have taken hold of participatory budgeting. For those of you that are not aware, every single school in District 25 receives, and this is for students to make choices with, receives an allocation. And Melinda, if you're on, just remind me of the allocation. I think it was over $3,000 that kids were able to work together with building leaders to determine how those dollars were spent. Now, unfortunately, some of our kids have loftier expectations for what they can use $3,000 for. But where through conversation, they're able to land in a space that makes sense for the school. Typically, our kids reach out to their peers across the building to identify what would be next with those dollars. So really, really important work for not only Civics Week, but in general, how our kids are learning to advocate for themselves and promote their voice.
Well, Dr. Mike, the schools received $3,865 this year.
Perfect. Thank you, Melinda. Melinda, a huge part of Civics work. She lives for this type of work and helps our schools really promote it across buildings, including Project Soapbox, which is not complete yet and will be done towards the end of the year, where we organize around district type of work. So thank you, Melinda, for that. Math Madness. This was really, really great work. Super shout out to Beth from our team, who's leading. Now session 3 will be held tomorrow. again, across our district at PS 20. So the first two sessions were pretty well received. We had one at IS 25 and 209. Really exciting to watch our kids and families in action. I can't tell you how many parents were kind of sitting with their kids and glued into doing math work with their children. And a lot of these events, I tend to just stand back and do a little bit of watching. And what tells me it's a successful event when I can stand back and watch, and I'm not just seeing kids run around. I'm not just seeing parents waiting for their kids to be finished running around to leave. They were sitting, working on the math problems that were available to them, which more importantly are accessible at home. It's not just that I can do a math task with you here. Those same math tasks are replicable at home to work with your kids to make sure that they're thinking, problem solving, and supporting their math understanding at the same time. So those events were really well done. Next one will be on tomorrow from 6 to 7:30 at PS 20. We are expecting another really nice turnout. The turnout at PS 209. We had a cafeteria filled with parents and kids. And for those of you that are available, I encourage you to participate in this next one. I did get to play a game Moncala, which I thought was really, really cool. Right?
Fun.
Which I personally had not played before, but it does call to strategy, problem solving, and a lot of mathematical thinking in the process. So lots of things that are out there for us to take advantage of. And I hope that you're able to come and join us for this next one tomorrow night. Just a quick shout out for all of our kids that were participated in our D25 All-Star basketball games. Schools from across the district had a chance to showcase their skills at Townsend Harris and Francis Lewis High School, led by Diana Stein from our team, who will be presenting shortly on the things that she's doing. Is Diana here? Diana, I can't give Diana any more shout outs than I do, but I will, because she's doing great work. And, aside from the fact that kids get to showcase their skills, what I love about this is that we get to bring kids to a high school community. They get to see, what does that high school look like? What does that feel like when I come into a building? Just it's awe. Many of our kids are in awe because it's not like what they experience in their elementary school. They're walking into Townsend Harris, seeing this huge gymnasium, where they get to see kids around them that go to that high school, many of which come from District 25, by the way, that know the teachers and coaches that they learn from right here in District 25. So it's just a cool way for us to bring kids together and not only enjoy the game, but promote sportsmanship and a great deal of learning at the same time. So big shout out for all of our coaches, students that participated, as well as Diana for organizing the event. Big shout out, lots of shout outs, but doing a lot of different things here in the district. Nathan from our team also organized the third of our special education series, which is an outgrowth, by the way, of CEC work. The reason why these particular activities, this particular series took place was because of feedback from our families. So this one in particular is around kindergarten IEP process, and making sure that our families understand the process that's involved in the Turning 5 process, and what it means for our families and how do they move forward in the process. So there is a link there to the recording. So for any families that have young children that are in pre-K right now, that are in the process of receiving an evaluation or have been evaluated already, so that they know what those things are that they need to know, it's accessible for our families there. The reason why we're recording all of these things so that it is archived. It's there for anyone that needs to see it, to have an opportunity to go and check it out for themselves moving forward. Because it doesn't mean that all the answers will be delivered there, but allows for opportunity to ask further questions. What did I see there that I'm still not sure about, that I can ask Nathan and email him? Because those of you who have experiences with him, Nathan's going to give you the answer. He really knows what he's talking about when it comes to the world of special education. So I encourage any of our families that were not able to be part of it to participate. And we had a significant outcome for both the morning and afternoon sessions. where we had, plenty of families on there learning about the special education process. Hello, April, Autism Awareness Month. Really important for, for our families, especially with children that do have autism, that, they are aware of the supports that our schools can provide, and that any of those needs that any of our families have, they can tap into our schools, as well as our district office, as well, but really supporting and promoting autism awareness this month. It's also National Assistant Principals Week this week, so big shout out to all of our APs. We have over 60 assistant principals in District 25, all working super hard for our kids in our community. So big shout out to them and thanks for all of the work that they do. So that brings my report to a close, and I know that Diana is going to be sharing a few things around not only around the athletics that we're building across District 25, but just a quick little conversation around Mind Up. I want to make sure that all of our community members here are very clear on what Mind Up offers, just as a starting place to having a larger district conversation around this, especially because when I see 60%, that's not a number that I love. That's not where I like to live in anything that I do. So, once I saw that earlier, I said, Diana, we need to edit some slides today to make sure that we're reconnecting everyone from CEC's perspective around what Mind Up is all about. So you'll hear those two things from Diana this evening, and I thank her again for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Mike, for that report. I'm going to make a short present report, and then I'm going to introduce Diana Stein, and she will present her, give her presentation. So last month, we had the Office of Language Access here and gave us our presentation, and Ms. Joe made a comment about the lack of translations in the simplified Chinese characters. So the Office of Language Access actually emailed me today, gave us more resources, and they had offered to do another meeting with them. And I told Joseph that, if we want to start the initiative to work with the Office of Language Access to get this simplified Chinese translation going, we will work with them. So if any members here want to participate in the meeting, I will let you know when that meeting is going to be, okay? And then last month, I attended the President's Council meeting where Diana Stein was giving her presentations to the PTA president. And I was very impressed with the presentation because I think as parents, we were all always focusing on the academics of our children and really forgets about, how important physical education is, for children's learning. So after the presentation, I emailed Diana and asked and invited her to come this evening to give her presentation to us so that we can, learn more what physical education can help our children improve in their learning and their, help, not just and socially, how to help them socially. So Diana Stein, she was actually our 2022-2023 CEC Joe Kessler Award recipient. She started the bocce team, and she actually have exciting news tonight during her presentation, which I will now let her tell us more about her presentation. Hi, we want to. Do you however you're comfortable, if you have slides, you have presentation? Okay.
Sure, I can talk. That's great. I'm sorry? Oh, so I might as well have like swam here. I'm sorry that I was 10 minutes late because the water by me is crazy. So, but thank you all for having me. Very honored to be here and kind of share the work that we're doing in G25 around Mind Up, as well as our physical education programs, and lastly, our athletic league. So yeah, thank you. So I'm just gonna kick off with Mind Up. Super proud of this work, proud of all of our teachers and our schools and our school building leaders. But I just wanted to kind of just do a brief intro about what Mind Up actually is. Mind Up is a evidence-based curriculum around social emotional learning. The best part of I think about Mind Up is that it's broken up into 3 different sections, and it's super clear about what the expectations and the outcomes are for each one of those sections. The sections focus around the parts of the brain. So your kids might be coming home talking about the different, parts and kind of, what they do. You walk into our, school building and all you see is just pictures of the brain, and it's, kind of cool. The second piece revolves around the sense of community. Whenever we also walk into our school buildings, you'll also see what's called community agreements. Basically, our kids came together and came up with like a set of expectations for each other to make everyone feel welcome and safe and included. And that's posted pretty much in every classroom as well as in the entranceway of every single building. And that was kind of like our lead off, like our first expectation of Mind Up in every building. And then lastly, focuses on building personal relationships, what that looks like, how to act, and just how to be a good citizen, human, things like that, just to, interact in the world. All of the curriculum topics, all of the, lessons are all based around the SEL competencies, which are listed there. And there are real clear connections to each one of them, and every lesson is purposeful in giving kids not only like the knowledge, but also the skills to practice each one of these competencies. What I like most about kind of this work is that you don't just see it in one place, right? You see it everywhere, whether it's in the hallway, recess, PE, math class, wherever, like all of these, competencies, lessons, skills can be practiced and also shown in every single piece of our school, which is what makes it kind of so all encompassing and a pretty big staple in all of our schools. So why did D25 go the Mind Up route? You might be familiar that in 2023, Mayor Adams and Chancellor Banks came out with the idea that every child in New York City public schools should be participating in 2 to 5 minutes of mindfulness every single day. This was in response to the crisis that we went through as far as, COVID and the impact that it had on our mental health, not lost with our, children. So that this was our way to make sure that it's happening. And Dr. Mike has been an extraordinary leader in this work. He really makes it like top notch, because without mental health, without, all of these competencies, children can't learn. So it's really been a district-wide push, and we are the only district in the city to have full implementation in every single one of our pre-K through 8 schools. So super proud of that. We are the only district with full implementation. Correct.
Program.
Every school does it. Every school has been trained, has leads, etc. Yeah. So, again, super proud and just speaks to, Dr. Mike's real focus on mental health, on overall wellness of our kids. This is actually from our DCEP, and Mind Up is included in priority number 2. Which I think is a real testament to the district and the work that we're doing to really make sure that we are giving kids the chance to be healthy and safe and to really just become great citizens of the world and of our community here. So it's all listed in there. So how do we do it here in D25? Dr. Mike obviously is the top notch. He's, leading the work. And then that trickles down to myself and the other members of the student services team, Beverly, Greg, Wing, etc. All of those folks, we work directly with the points from Mind Up. We have bi-weekly check-ins where we really kind of talk about what we should be seeing in our schools, what is, kind of, coming up, and kind of, troubleshooting whatever problems may come up, whether it's, we're behind in our lessons. It's really just to get that support. And then from us, then goes down directly to our school building, leaders, and also our Mind Up leads that I'll talk about in 1 second. And then lastly goes down to our school building staff. Notice that language is actually school building staff because it's not just teachers. Paras are definitely trained and expected to do the work. Health aides, school aides, absolutely during, recess and things like that, which has been a, major focus within this school year. Anybody down to the, cafeteria staff, everybody who touches, the lives of our kids definitely have a place within Mind Up. So that's why that language is super explicit when it comes to that. It's more than just teachers. It's everybody who is involved in the everyday of our kids. So I'll go kind of through this quickly. You asked me for a couple of slides. I can't stop myself. Sorry. So just a little bit of an overview of what's kind of been happening throughout the year, as early as the end of last year, and then looking forward to next school year. So we started this in the spring of 2023, and this is where we really kind of launched to our school building leaders. Without them, without that kind of top-down value, this would have never worked. So we took the time during principal meetings, assistant principal meetings, and they were all trained in a version of Mind Up that they would have a full understanding of the expectation of what it should be, look like, etc. And then they were tasked with selecting leads within their school buildings. The leads jobs basically is what that, pretty much says, is that they are the leaders of that work within their school building. What's come out of this, which I think is great, is that we have a nice culture of different types of staff members. It's not just the PE teachers, it's not just the, social workers. We have math teachers, science teachers. We have pretty much a member of every role within a school building represented in this lead work, okay? So now they're tasked with then kind of training up and supporting the other members of their school building when it comes to implementation of Mind Up and really making sure that it's top-notch and, meeting the expectation of what the curriculum is to make sure that it is being done to meet all of our kids' needs. That led us to a nice, wonderful, Mind Up leads training at the farm. Lewis was with the cows, taking pictures. We all saw it on Instagram. But it was a great day, and the work really kind of built excitement and like a general understanding about what the role is, but also what the work is going to look like. And then brings us to fall of 2023, and we kicked off right away with full district implementation. We started off in September. We had lead trainings. Every single school building had a kickoff event, which meant that a member of the Mind Up team joined the actual school, whether it was on election day or any day kind of in the first 2 months of school. They met with the entire staff and just built the excitement around what Mind Up is. Every single building did, do that in the fall. Then we had our District 25 parent event earlier in the year where we invited parents from the district to come in. Dr. Mike spoke. We had members of the, Mind Up team. And again, just a general overview about an hour about what that work is. Brings us to kind of currently where we are. Every single school was provided the opportunity and did have a parent event at their actual child's school building. It was either done virtually or in person, and it was about an hour, and the Mind Up team shared with the leads kind of just the Mind Up curriculum with the parents, what you should be hearing and seeing and things like that. And that was great. We keep having our lead training. We've had 2 so far. We have 1 more coming up. Every school is allotted 3 on-site coaching sessions. where we go in and we really kind of work with the leads to troubleshoot and to really just kind of build that capacity where they could be true leaders of the work, and then make sure that it's being done to its best ability. We have our monthly COPs. Ours was actually today, where our leads come together virtually and just go over kind of problems of, practice and share best practices and get ideas from each other, which has been great. And then every school did receive a golden nugget, which I think is funny, like the name. But it was a very nice, gift box. It had the chime and other things that would kind of enhance it. I'll give a huge shout out to our principals because they found a really big value in this one box, and they went ahead and bought boxes for every classroom in their building, which was great. And then we'll have our end of year. So looking ahead to next school year, we're going to continue to just dive deeper. There's more to learn about the brain. There's more to learn about what a good relationship is. There's more to learn about everything when it comes to SEL competency. This is an, everlasting practice. You can never get enough skill building when it comes to this. So we'll just dive deeper and just, building on all the good stuff that we've been doing. I will also say that we have been identified as a model for the entire city when it comes to this work. MindUp is going to be expanding into different districts throughout the city coming in the fall of next school year, and everybody has been pretty much told that D25 is doing it right. So we've been really kind of been the model. So that's been great for us. So just to show you the progress monitoring that we've been doing around MindUp. Dr. Mike spoke earlier about the survey, which is very telling, and we need to do, even more than we are doing, and we will do that. And we went ahead and created a look for tool so that when any member of the district team goes into a school building, they kind of know what they should be seeing based on where we are in the curriculum. And this is a survey that they can fill out just to kind of let the team know about what's happening in every school. And the beauty of this is that when you go into every school, it does look different, and that's okay, right? Because it's based on our kids' needs and our teacher needs and what's happening there. So it's been really cool to kind of see the different levels of implementation and the different kind of creative lens that every school has built upon. And then lastly, just a big shout out to Dr. Mike, and I tell everybody this, is that I can, we all can kind of overhear questions and things like that when it comes to like meetings with, principals and, check-ins. And Dr. Mike's second question in every time he talks to a building leader is, so tell me about MindUp. So it's a huge priority for us, overall wellness, overall well-being, and just the whole child component. So, obviously the work starts at the top, and there it is. And just to show you kind of a little bit of what, Louis, you can go ahead. To just show you what, MindUp looks like in our different schools. This is that, 24. Again, every school building looks different, but this is what I pulled from them just in doing like a walk. I really like this because brain breaks are a big piece of this. So according to the MindUp, curriculum, they should be having 3 brain breaks every day, which seems like a lot, but it's, really like 1 to 2 minutes. It's not huge, right? It's like not a big lift. And those can look different, and all of the resources are available to our teachers and our staff as far as like what brain break they want to do. But what I love about 24 is that you see that it's actually built into their flow of the day, right? So that the, kids know that it's going to be happening. They know that it's important, and it just builds consistency with the curriculum throughout the school building. Some schools do it on the, loudspeaker in the, morning, or they do it after recess, or, prior to, PE. Every school does it differently, but I like that this was kind of built in as a staple with the brain and go from there. Next one at 244. Again, MindUp board, all the children, were asked to just draw pictures and write, sentences and words regarding, Mind Up and what the goal of it is. So that was a great board to see. And then on the right, instead of having community agreements kind of just, listed out, the children were able to talk about what these 3 pillars mean for them, which is being safe, being kind, and being focused. So they can correlate that to what that means to them and then put the post-its up to create their community agreement. And then lastly, we really do, again, in the push for literacy and, academic language, this is definitely built into Mind Up, and our schools have taken this and they have ran with it. They really focus on having monthly words, and what they mean and their kind of like application into life. And they're all built around the Mind Up curriculum. And that is just a couple photos from a parent workshop at 242. Great turnout. And again, just parents, learning more about what Mind Up is.
So just big shout out to Diana, because they because of the work that is being led around Mind Up, Diana was actually called with a school to go and present centrally. Where they managed to be connected also with Goldie Hawn, who's the creator of this program, and a lot of kudos come from the fact that this is being grown across the school. We are not there, make no mistake, we are not there in terms of this work. We still have a lot more to do. But there is something to kids being able to take that breath when you see the strategic space of when that happens. Post lunch, really important. As kids are a little bit ramped up, how do we get them to come back and be ready to learn inside of our classrooms? Anytime where there is that space, of why it's a little bit different in each school is because there are troubled times during every school day. How do we make sure we're organizing around those times where kids are a little bit rambunctious, so that they know that it's important to bring themselves back into a place of learning? So all of this is really, really important stuff. There's one of the things that we learned from the special student survey, a social emotional learning survey, is that the 2 spaces where kids wind up having the hardest time is when tasks are hard for them. How do they deal with not getting overly frustrated where they give up? And the other is how to manage their emotions when they're feeling frustrated. So in the survey that we provided, 20% of our kids in both of those areas, and that's what we're talking about, 13,000+ children completed that survey. Those are the 2 spaces that came up the most significant, and that's what brain breaks actually help kids do, is how to get themselves into a space of calm when things are getting a little bit too intense for them. So, but anyway, thank you, Diana, for the work that you're doing there.
Questions about Mind Up? Good. So we'll shift gears into physical education. I always start with the next slide. You have one job. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, I'm sharing my screen.
That's okay. I'm just kidding.
I have a question.
Sure. Sorry.
So, I'm a student in junior high school 194, and I want to know that is elementary school doing Mind Up?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the way from our early childhood, our pre-K centers are doing a modified version, and then every single elementary K through 5 is absolutely doing Mind Up. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so shifting gears into physical education. I always start with this slide. I just think it's funny because this is how I spent most of my early teaching life. People kind of questioning or not knowing what our PE teachers do, what my friends think I do, which is classic. Everyone thinks that it's dodgeball, which we can't do, just so you know. My family thinks that I do parachute all day, which I love a good parachute, trust me, but it's not every day. Society, what they think I do, is wear, sweatpants and, sneakers every day, which is definitely a perk of the job, but not the whole job, right? What my principal thinks I do, what my, students think I do, and then what I actually do. I just want to, start out by saying that one thing that I think is so amazing in District 25 is the really high standard that we hold our PE teachers to. You can go into any school building and ask them what they are, and they'll tell you that they're a PE teacher because a gym is a place and a person. So we don't like to say gym teacher, we like to say PE because it is definitely a space of learning, and our kids know that and our teachers know that. So we really do, hold PE to a high standard and a high quality because it is such a, critical piece of the whole child, going back to the, to the whole child piece. So Louis, you can go ahead. One thing that I just wanted to point out about District 25, we are the only district in New York City to have 100% of at least one licensed physical education teacher in every single one of our schools, which is huge, right? Which is huge. And again, just speaks to the testament of that we really do value PE, and we value the idea that kids, need it. They, active kids, better learners, right? The goal of PE, albeit to have fun, albeit to do the parachute, is absolutely though physical literacy. Again, lifelong fitness, the idea that children have the knowledge and the skills to participate in an active lifestyle after 12th grade. Because after 12th grade, we all know that PE is not part of our daily schedule anymore. So we want to give kids the opportunity to find what they like and then to carry it into their adult life, right? Self-management and things like that. We do have standards as far as just like, math has standards, we have our national and our state, both have been revamped within the past 12 months, which has been very exciting. And again, just speaks to the idea of how important PE is, because we are going to raise the bar and make sure that we are teaching to the standards to give kids the best opportunity for, learning and to be active for their whole life. So this is for our PE teachers, this is the most important triangle that they'll ever see in their whole life, is kind of what I say to them. So this basically just will give you an idea about what happens within each grade band of PE. So you see that the bottom is kind of the largest piece, right? This is where children learn skills, right? This is all of our foundational skills when it comes to being active. This is where children learn how to throw, catch, skip, hop, gallop, leap, all of the basic functions that are needed to participate in sport and game, right? Middle school is where that application comes into play, where they take what they've learned, throwing, catching, dribbling, and really kind of put it into practice in gameplay, right? And then high school, which I know isn't kind of our focus here, but high school, again, children should be going into high school prepared, right? Prepared as far as having the skills, the knowledge, the concepts to participate. And high school is kind of where they find their niche, where they find what they like. And then that's going to carry them into that physical literacy component where they kind of take that activity into their everyday life, finding those resources when it comes to like finding a game to go and play, pick up at the park or go to the Y, right? So finding those resources where they can go and access the opportunity to be active, gyms, yoga classes, wherever they may be. So that's kind of the flow about what you should be seeing. Certainly shouldn't be seeing like 5-on-5 in, kindergarten. That's not, which you won't laugh, but no. But, we really want to make sure that kids also have a good relationship with being active, right? And 5-on-5 in kindergarten does not start out in a good way, right? So we build through there. Thanks. So how are we supporting our PE teachers as well as our physical education programs? Our teachers participate in monthly professional learning. We've gone through culturally responsive teaching, or CRSE. We've gone through standards-based instruction. We've gone through fitness training, which all of your children do take in K through 12, in some capacity. We've gone over effective grading policy that actually aligns with the chancellor's regulations as well as academic policy. Children should not be being graded on if they're wearing sneakers or not. That's not a showing of what they've learned, right? We should be collecting data. assessments, pre and post, medial, etc. So it definitely is a place where we're growing and we're looking at data and what that means and how we also use it, right? And then we also participate in our monthly PLCs. Our teachers come together. We have the highest attendance in the city also of our PE teachers going to these. And just to give you like a little demo of kind of what we do, we took one of the 6 standards of the new New York State standards. We took one standard for one grade, right? And we unpacked that and we broke it down into what actually needs to be taught to make sure that in 4th grade, we're teaching to that standard. And we pulled out from it all of that academic language. So again, the idea that literacy stops with reading and writing is not true. It can be extended and it can be looked at in our PE classrooms. And that is the expectation that we do have in District 25, that academic language is a piece of every single classroom, including PE. We have higher order thinking questions. We have all of these things. It just might look different and it might just sound different, but it is happening. And again, this is an extension of the, movement that every child should be able to, right? And yes, we're going to expand PE through partnerships. This is something that we are super proud of just because we are, again, going back to the idea that there are resources in our community that our kids need to know about. We've built some pretty strong and incredible partnerships. And the goal of these partnerships is to expand PE past simply basketball, soccer, volleyball, and softball. We don't teach in seasons. We teach everything, right? We teach to give kids an opportunity to explore non-traditional games. I have one school doing cricket currently, right? We have schools doing, ultimate, which is amazing. So it also breaks down that barrier, going back to the idea that we want children to have a positive relationship with being active, because the minute a teacher says, okay, we're going to start our basketball unit, half of your kids shut down because they don't like basketball, right? So we really try to find ways to introduce new, exciting games that everyone feels safe and comfortable to do that still encompass all of those foundational skills instead of just the traditional soccer, basketball, etc. Right? So we have a new partnership with Disc New York, which is Ultimate Frisbee, up and coming. I'll talk through that more. Soccer has been a super exciting partnership with NYCFC. They're building a stadium right here. We're going to have a pitch, an outdoor pitch right outside 214. So they want us and we want them because we're local, so it's great. Currently they are in 10 of our school buildings. They have coaches going once a week. They have a back-to-back double block. Some of your children might be kind of, seeing that. And they run clinics with our kids, skills and drills. And what I think is great about this is 2 things. That one, it's an extra layer of professional learning for our PE teachers, right? Because we have experts in soccer who are really teaching those skills in a different way. So they're kind of learning by, seeing. And also the kids' excitement, they think that they're being scouted. It's the cutest thing you'll ever see. But it's just great for the kids to kind of feel that way. And in our district, we have a huge soccer loving population and the kids want it. So we've answered that. And here we are. The goal for NYCFC is to be in every single one of our school buildings by next spring, 2025. Okay. And then we have CHAMPS, which is our centrally funded, centrally run athletic program. Super proud to announce that we have the most in the city, 23 winter programs. It's before and after school. Anything from, fitness club to double Dutch. It's really like a wide menu of options, and a lot of our schools rely on this funding and rely on this opportunity to get more and more before and or after school programs for our kids. And for our current spring, we have 22 applications in, again, most in the city, which I keep saying, which is good and bad because I know that they won't give us, 22, but I'm gonna fight for as many as we can get. And those will go out tomorrow as far as, who got what, but it looks very, very, very good, very, promising. Those are just some photos. So those are our City Lax folks up. Oh, did I skip City Lax?
You did.
Yeah.
I apologize. The most important one, Dr. Mike's thing here. Sorry, City Lax. Again, thinking outside the box, thinking outside of those traditional sports. Lacrosse is actually the oldest sport in history. It dates back to ancient times. And it's super popular on Long Island, and our goal is to bring it here into District 25. So we have this great partnership with them. I'll talk more about what they're doing for us in a couple slides, but also they are, similarly to NYCFC, they are in currently 6 of our middle schools. They're doing clinics. And then we are having a 6-team developmental lacrosse league for our middle schools, which has been amazing. And again, just giving kids exposure to any and all things that we can to get them excited about being active.
Yeah, so those of you not familiar with lacrosse, I played myself in high school. It is an amazing, amazing sport. And typically connected to Long Island.
Yes.
So it's always been an East Coast sport, but primarily a Long Island type of sport. And, it just is, it's a great experience for kids. So I'm excited that we're able to do this.
So only at the middle school level right now, would it be introduced at the elementary level?
Elementary school, the expectation is that there's going to be a 1-unit program for lacrosse. So with that partnership came the donation of about 200 sticks. I'm actually housing them, and they'll be passed around from, school to school, so that every child can have the opportunity to have at least 1 unit from now until the end of the year of lacrosse.
Not under Diana's desk.
We're secret right now. I can tell you stories, but I won't. So, last thing I think about PE, just move to improve. I'm allowed to say that we are one of the very few districts, and very few, that has 100% all-star status, which means that every single one of our school buildings has at least 85% of, again, school building staff trained in MTI. What is MTI? It's a classroom-based physical activity program. I didn't say curriculum, because the idea of this program is that it's built into what teachers are already teaching. So instead of the traditional, if we had like a true false or a pick one off the board, instead of, kids raising their hand and just giving that answer verbally, they can use one of these cards and show what their choice is, whether it be through, climbing or, squatting, posing, things like that. So it's a way to build in movement throughout the day, which we all know kids need. Active kids, better learners. They're sitting a lot. So it's simple ways that we do this. And again, it's in every single one of our school buildings. And lastly, just health education, just so you all know, full implementation, have fully adopted our Health Smart curriculum in conjunction with the new curriculum that is called Growing Up and Staying Safe. It's a skills-based approach, no more scare tactics, no more, data dives. It's really about skill building, about how to say no, and then that why piece. Why should I say no? Things like that. So it's giving children an opportunity to practice what they're learning and practice how to apply what they're learning into the world. And then our health teachers attend monthly PLCs, webinars, and in-person professional development or professional learning sessions around curriculum and hot topics. I feel like I'm taking forever, and I'm sorry if I'm just talking at you all. Last part, I promise. Our athletic league, super proud of it. We are growing and growing and growing. Again, the model. Everyone's coming to us asking how we're doing it, and we're keeping it a big secret because no one can catch up with us. So just to give you kind of an overview of what our sports teams look like. At the elementary level, we have co-ed basketball 22 teams, co-ed soccer 17, girls soccer 4, and our cheer teams 22. Our culminating events, as Dr. Mike shared, this year we had our 2 All-Star games, which were great and televised. And to be honest with you, when I looked at the YouTube link that we share through the district page and you know, all of our schools, we had over 1,000 viewers, which is crazy for, you know, elementary basketball, but it's great, it's great. And then we'll have our soccer jamboree in the spring. And then actually on Tuesday is our, what I like to call our first annual, because I think it's important, our first annual cheer expo. We have about 25 cheer teams coming down to show off the work that they've done and to celebrate them. So,
Tuesday?
on Tuesday, yeah.
Where?
Flushing Memorial Field. Yeah, should be, and it'll be street, so I'll have the link for everyone. And then moving on to our middle school, which is certainly building and expanding. I got an email today about tennis, so I gotta wrap my head, you know, through that one. Sports, co-ed basketball, we have 9 teams, co-ed soccer 10, co-ed volleyball 7, bocce, which we are super proud of, and RFK actually refers to bocce as the hidden gem of District 25. Bocce is our first inclusion league, our unified league. What that means is that this league really works to unify our children with special needs and our neurotypical students. So children with IEPs, children with autism in, you know, chairs, things like that, they're partnered with our neurotypical students, and it really, as many principals have said, changed the culture of their school buildings. They compete against each other. Right now, it's in 5 of our schools, and actually recently IS 25 took a trip over the bridge. We went to the Bronx, District 9, and we played their unified bocce team. Again, bocce being kind of a different new sport, super safe and inclusive. The kids are learning, they're high-fiving each other, they're sitting, you know, together at lunch. Children who wouldn't normally have the chance to be together are together, and it's just the true spirit of what District 25 believes in as far as really creating those inclusive spaces and those safe spaces. Cheer teams and lacrosse, and then we have our culminating events, our opening ceremony, championship games, left and right, and our cheer expo, as I mentioned, on Tuesday.
Yeah, getting back to bocce,
Yeah.
is it just middle school?
So currently, right now, it is just middle schools. We're looking to expand into 4th and 5th grade. And again, kind of where we started with bocce was schools that had the necessary population to get the funding. We received about $50,000 grant from Special Olympics New York. So we're looking to ask for more and to do more, because we really see the impact that our unified league is having. And we'll go to the next, last 2 slides for me, I promise. Family focus on family engagement. Next Saturday, April 13th, Saturday morning, we will be partnering again with CEC, as well as some current college, current high school, and previous college lacrosse players will be coming together. We're inviting 4th through 8th grade students from our district to come down to Flushing Memorial Field for about an hour and a half lacrosse clinic. Again, build the hype, get everyone kind of in the know about what the game and the sport is, have them practice and learn from our professionals. They'll be providing sticks and everything else, so just come with the family, have a great morning, and it should be wonderful. The link to register is live. You can do the QR code. Shout out to Marissa for making that beautiful, beautiful flyer. I love it. And again, just, you know, more ways to leverage these partnerships to bring them into our community, because CEC does a lot of work with our PSAL, which is our high school athletic league, and they do a lot of free clinics in our community. So again, getting their, you know, word out and having our kids have a great morning at the same time.
I will be there with my lacrosse stick ready for anyone that wish to witness this. I haven't played in a long time, but I will be there with my lacrosse stick.
What position did you play?
I was a midfielder,
Mid?
yeah,
Okay.
center midfielder, yeah.
Wow.
And then lastly, I think, Dr. Mike brought this up a couple months ago and we kind of thought through it and, and just kind of realized that we need to do more when it comes to our teacher and our building staff wellness and their opportunities to kind of come together and have fun and be, and, engaged and, team build. So through our partnership, again, leveraging what we have through DISC New York, we're gonna be hosting on June 17th. The, competition's gonna get crazy. Every school is going to have the chances to field, an 8-person ultimate Frisbee team. And we'll be coming together, and I know that they're all gonna make shirts, they're gonna go crazy with this, I can't wait. And it's this, and it'll be a nice afternoon after school, just to kind of give them a chance to play, learn. They'll do about a 30-minute skill building and then really play, for an hour. We'll have a tournament. And, DISC New York, is actually using our new branded logo to put on Frisbees and give it to every person who attends. So it's a pretty cool kind of takeaway. And again, just building the hype around just New York. And again, they do community leagues for both children and adults. So by them coming to us, again, it's just one more resource for our children and our, families to have to be active. And we're seeing the impact. I'll skip it. Next one, Louis, go ahead. We're seeing the impact. Hot off the press, that's our new District 25 athletic logo and our athletic website on our district page. Celebrates everything. Blurb is there for every single sport and team that we have. And I thank you all for your time. It's right here. Beautiful. Marissa, Louis, everyone who worked on it really did a great job. And it's super exciting. And again, we're just, leading the way. So any questions? I will stop talking now, I promise. Go ahead, please.
Notice this New York background
Yes.
is reversed because it's Empire State and Citibank building.
Well, it's not my logo, but I'll give it that. That's what they sent me, so I can take no credit or anything else, but interesting.
See that?
I will tell them, yeah.
So the Empire State is 34th, 35th, and the Citibank is 50 something.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Solar panels on the top.
I will give that feedback.
No, good point.
So it has to be facing south.
Oh, too bad, stop sharing.
Yeah.
But thank you, Wendy, for having me tonight. And, I really just want to say that Dr. Mike leads all of this, and without him being in a constant space of yes, when we all come to him and ask for things, nothing would be happening. So it really is a testament to him. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I know you're so busy with all these, new sports. coming.
Add another one. Yeah, what do we got? What do we got, Wendy? I'm excited.
Track and field.
So yes, we have a partnership actually with New York Road Runners or New York Rising Runners. And we have competitions at Randall Island. It's part of Champs. And every school does. We did APL with them in November. They came and they spoke to our PE teachers as well as any track kind of enthusiasts within the building. And they all have access to that free curriculum. It's called Play Builder. It's great. And so all of our schools have free access to that.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know Diana likes to share the credit that it's something that I am doing, but this is all Diana putting in the work and effort. All I get to do is say, yes, I want that. So Diana will say, Mike, there's an opportunity to connect with New York City Lax. Yes, connect. There's a space for Disc NYC. Yes, connect, because it's those opportunities, but Diana's doing all of that work and deserves all the credit for the expansion of what, my hope over time is to just create opportunities for kids. Whatever those opportunities are, as many opportunities as we can offer, because children are going to tap into one of them. It might not be all of them. We do have some kids that are very, very much, athletically inclined, and they can do every single one of those sports and do them well. But there are others that will find one that just connects with them, and they don't have to be a superstar in it, but they connect with it. And it allows them to get through the space of every single day, knowing I get to go and do that later. So I want to be able to expose our kids to as many things as possible. So as the more that Diana researches and finds out partnerships, my answer is always going to be, yes, let's do that and offer it to our kids. So thank you, Diana, for that work.
Thank you for having me. That was a great presentation. And anyone else have any questions? No? No? Okay. All right, so, let me just give an update on the administrative assistant hiring process. So we have a list of the candidates, okay? So we have, Alvin emailed us his list, so I will give this list of names. Angela Melendez, Wei Chang, Kimberly Garcia, Kalaya Bright, Marilyn Aviles, Georgia Sanan, Melissa Conforme. I will give this list to Faith, and then I will ask them to reach out to these candidates, because I think coming from us, because we don't have a
To see how they want us
full-
to like move forward. with it.
Yeah,
If we're reaching out to them or they're gonna reach out and then
exactly. So I'm
make the
going,
connection for us.
so at least we have that going. And then with, so now, let's discuss the award ceremony. So every year at our June meeting is not going to be here, okay? It's an award ceremony. Last year, the award ceremony took place at IS 25. There's a recording, on the CEC website. You could actually take a look and see how the award ceremony is done. This year, we have to find a school, to hold the ceremony again. The purpose of the award ceremony is, we want to reward and celebrate students and staff that have been leaders and good citizens in their school community. So we've talked about maybe PS 237 or junior high school 194. So Louis will contact those schools, and I will get back to everyone where it's going to be. And then we will also have to, will you be reaching out to the principals to get,
Yeah, so we usually help CC kind of organize and do some outreach to schools.
Okay.
And we send out a form that, allows us to gather the information on who the kids and staff members will be. So yes, we can help support with that. for
Okay.
sure.
And then for the award ceremony, we will have to get the award certificate. And last year, I think Carly had ordered pens, right? Pens. Oh, you're actually using it. Oh,
I love the pen.
oh, okay.
It's a very good
And
pen.
I think we got flowers too. I don't recall.
I don't think we got for everybody.
paper.
We got the award ceremony
medals.
certificate. Oh, did we get the?
We got little medals
We
last
got-
year.
But
Did you get
here's the problem. Last year I was the treasurer, so
Oh.
I know, I went.
Oh,
through,
okay.
my time, because you know the budget that we have, there's like some kind of time, like a time that we could use. If we pass that certain time, we cannot utilize our budget.
No, but then Carly we could use the card, the P
Eh.
card but then she said there's a limit on $250 on,
So last time when we
Each location
used,
that you
we
purchased.
spent more than 250. So what
Yeah.
she did is she split the cost.
Yeah.
But aside from that card, the budget that we need to bring, that one is the one that has like a time restriction. And once we pass that time, we can utilize our budget. And we gotta talk to at the.
so when did you and Carly
It
make
was,
the purchase?
I believe it was the March. March
In
was the deadline for us to use that fund.
I think she did allocate the funds in the budget before
We
she,
kind of have to find out because it's a little bit complicated. In order for it to use order and stuff like that, there's a specific time. And
Yeah.
once we pass that specific time, even though we have a budget, we cannot.
Same thing
utilize
exists
our-
for schools.
yeah.
I just don't, I don't know if the deadline is the same for the CEC as it is for school buildings.
okay,
So,
So Yeah, that would have to be just a phase question also,
Okay,
just asking them around, the administrative assistant is no longer here.
yeah.
Can you
okay.
give us a little bit of an idea of timeline of?
So
What do you wanna do though? like,
this
with the
year-
warrant?
Joseph is our treasurer. I will, if you don't mind, you and Joseph and I will will discuss with Base what, what we can
Sure,
do
you got
with
that?
it.
So there's some kind of like a process, we need to, like, there's certain things that we cannot order, once we pass that order, we have to get like,
That's everything.
proof.
I can't do everything, Joseph.
So give it to me. I asked you for the numbers. You said you would send them to me.
I'll send it to you.
Thank
So, all right, Shirley.
What are we doing though, like, other than certificates, do we wanna do like medals again, like we had last year, do we wanna do something different, like, do we wanna change it up, that's the kind of thing that I feel like we need to.
We gotta
Figure out.
actually go onto the website and figure out, because there's so many restrictions. Like, we
No,
want
there's a web,
there's a specific website that DOE utilized for this,
oh,
and it's so.
You have to order through their site.
I don't know.
okay.
That there's certain, like, you can't go over a certain amount for the pen, and then there's like,
Oh.
there's a lot of restrictions, so we really gotta really like look into the website and.
You have the
see our
website?
options. I don't have, but Carly has.
Okay.
I'm
I
sorry.
can ask for that website.
I'm gonna contact them.
Okay,
All those things have an allocation memorandum that tell you what you can spend on and where you can spend it.
Okay,
Unfortunately, there are things that at times it makes it a little bit harder to spend, but I think every year you wind up managing to organize something where the kids get something nice before they leave, so.
we could, okay, we'll look at the website and see what we can order.
Kessler Award, I have the explanation
Okay.
pulled up in case anybody.
Oh, okay,
Doesn't
so Eden is going, so in addition to the awards for the students and the staff, there's also a Joe Kessler Award.
Most of you have met Joe Kessler this year, comes to meetings here
Yeah.
and there, and it's named after him. But just so you understand what the award specifically is, I pulled up our email from last year. The Joe Kessler Award is for someone who has demonstrated sportsmanship and leadership in the community. And that's somebody that we have to come up with a couple of names, narrow it down, and then kind of vote on who we want to receive that award.
So Joe Kessler, he was a PE teacher at PS 107 for a long time, and then he was a UFT representative.
Representative.
Yeah. So he's been active, very active, and he comes to our meetings quite often. So last school year, the recipient of this award was Diana Stein. So this year we will need
Maybe
to,
during the business meeting, we could talk
Yeah.
about some names.
okay, at
Do
the
we have to
business
keep it
meeting.
to a that teacher?
not necessarily.
No.
No, so I was the second recipient of the
Oh.
Joe Kessler Award. Lewis was a recipient of the Joe Kessler Award.
Yes. I was just
Um,
gonna say, Lewis. You wanted one that's more.
So it doesn't necessarily need to be someone that's in
PE.
I have it.
in physical education, but someone that kind of demonstrates, spaces of leadership, and promoting that across our district schools. So, typically that's how it's been organized in the past, in terms of recommendation.
Okay, so we will discuss some candidates at our business meeting after our general meeting. Okay, so anything else? So I will start an email Friday about the award ceremony. Okay. Okay, and next we have to review our CEC members attendance policy. Yeah, I'd like to thank, all the members that come in person to the meetings. I know, it's been a long winter, I feel like today and last meeting, we had really treacherous rainstorms, right? And I know it's tough getting down here, so I appreciate you guys coming to the meeting in person and also, beyond the meetings, visiting the schools. I know Joseph, Catherine, Eden, Frank, we all, go to the schools and talks to the principal. Some of us gone to different, uh, other meetings event like the iReady events, Math Madness.
Mhm.
We went to the CEC 26 town halls. I saw some of you there. So I appreciate, everyone getting involved, not just coming into the meeting, but also outside of this meeting, to the district events, well, whenever you can. Also the book events, of course, that's a big
Mhm.
one, right?
Yeah.
But what really matters is in our monthly general meeting, the attendance here is really important. So, Eden is going to go over the policy so that we're all clear what's expected of us here at the council.
So I actually reached out to Face just to get an updated version from our bylaws of absences and the rules around absences. So just to kind of read it off to everybody, it is a responsibility of each council member to attend all meetings of the council. It is incumbent upon all council members, except in cases of emergency, to notify the president or the secretary to the council at least 6 hours prior to the meeting time of their intent to be absent. There's no proxy or absentee voting. Any member of the council who fails to attend 3 meetings of the council without rendering and writing a good and valid excuse, therefore to the president, is vacating their seat of office. Each written excuse and absence has to be noted, and be marked as excused or unexcused, and we'll have to have it as a special paper in the minutes. And the valid excuses for absence are unfortunately death, funerals, serious illness or injury of a family member or a member, mandatory court attendance for something, military duty, or a job-related conflict where it makes it unavoidable for you to attend. So that's straight from the bylaws, what we kind of need to be looking at. So I just kind of ask that everyone takes that, looks at that, thinks about it, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. Let me tell somebody at least 6 hours before and give the valid reason. So we have that in documentation.
You have a question?
No,
Oh,
good.
Anybody have any question on it?
no, you had your hand raised.
I have a question.
Okay,
Go for it.
yeah.
I do.
Go
All right,
ahead.
This is unusual.
so you're allowed up to 3 absences, excuse.
After 3 unexcused absences,
Okay.
that's where we really are in the situation where we need to ask somebody to either resign or we have to then look at vacating the seat as a council.
How many excused absences can one person have?
They don't specify that. It says fails to attend 3 meetings
Pressing that.
without
I'm
valid
retired, but
excuse.
if I had a job, my boss called for a meeting, I can't make it.
That would be,
That's
Right,
bad.
as long as you
I'll
gave 6
take
hours
that
or more
prior.
notice, then you're fine.
I'd be good this.
so unexcused, right? So,
If he gave 6 hours notice and it was a job related conflict, it's excused technically.
and that's
What?
fine.
Quick questions. How about the Zoom?
That
Well,
is
that
an
makes-
absent. Just because
That's-
you're on that you have,
that's considered an
your,
absent.
yeah, your
Because
attendance
it can't
count
count
when you're
towards
here.
quorum.
If you're not here in person, it's an absent, whether then it's excused or unexcused absence.
Do they mention like religious holidays?
Religious observance falls under, like,
Suppose I celebrate Yom Kippur, it happens.
you want to celebrate it for me? You can. I'll gladly give up that holiday.
Oh, jeez.
Okay,
If I want to fast for a day, I'll take it.
okay. So we're all clear on that. Okay. So are there any speaker? I don't see any speaker on the chat. And any new business? Anyone want to bring up anything? I guess I could talk about this now. We don't have to wait until the business meeting about the town hall. The town hall meeting, and the C-37 process. So.
Am I supposed to be here for this stuff?
No, we're just talking about
Okay.
dates. We're just talking about dates. Because, last month we talked about the dates for the town hall, right? And even after the meeting, Mr. Pearson sent an email about pushing it back. So he sent another email last Thursday, that there has been a shift in the hiring process back up by a week or two. So now he is suggesting the town hall in the month of May.
Oh.
So the week of
He's like, oh, it was.
the week of May 6th. And then the C37, the week afterward, the week of the 13th.
I just
Okay.
know like Mondays are not a good thing.
Okay.
Pick a night.
So, okay, so the week of May 6th, what is a good day for you?
The other day I can work with.
All the other day except Monday? Okay,
Not Wednesday, because the Thompson Harris SLT is on Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
I can't do Thursday because they have a concert in PNW
Or two,
Tuesday's good for you?
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
either-
I can't do
Is it, this is
You
gonna
can't
be
do
in the
Tuesday?
evening?
Yeah,
So just to refresh, we have our monthly meeting was
We-
first.
yes, we could,
As stated
yeah.
on the agenda.
But, he also suggests we could do it see, I don't think I don't think the week of, May 1st or 2nd is not good.
it's not a remote meeting, it's a Zoom meeting.
It's a Zoom, it's remote, it's virtual.
If it's remote, then it's 13.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, this is
the
the-
vocal
this is
instead. No, no, it's on ninth, Thursday. They just released the news today. Yeah, it's the ninth.
We're waiting for,
4:30.
No, she said Monday is not good for her.
okay.
And then Tuesday is not good for you, John?
I don't think so, I'm out of town for those days, so. I
Oh,
might be
okay.
back, but. How about Thursday?
Thursday is hard for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's school event, I have to attend.
What's on the 8th?
As when,
Oh, the SLT?
Yeah, that's my SLT, but I can, I mean,
What time is your
Wednesday, Thursday.
SLT?
I'm foolish enough to.
And this is in the evening, right?
Yeah, in the evening. It'll start at 7.
Yeah, well, SLT, you don't have to see the family, right? SLT is over at 5:30. I guess we can have pizza. Or spaghetti. When you said 7?
Yeah,
Good choices.
Right?
yeah.
I mean, I guess, even if I'm still, Georgia, maybe I can just go to this, I won't be doing it.
Well, you can attend, you could be on the call. How it's going to run is that, because I was looking at the previous recording, for the town hall. That was, May 2022. And our past president, we hosted the town hall. It was also virtual. And in addition to CEC, DPAC, and the President's Council, the PTA President's Council, they were there. And the 3 groups, we took turns asking the questions. Okay, so I did not go through the entire recording. It was 2 hours long. So essentially, I would be hosting and speaking, right? And then I will be asking each member, DPAC and President Council to ask their questions, right? So not all members gonna get to ask the question. So you could join the call, you may not,
I forgot it was virtual. I was
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock, even if I'm still out of town. I can.
yeah,
I should
okay.
be able to tell my.
So
Tuesday.
Tuesday, May 7th. At 7.
Oh, that's. Fine.
Yeah.
I would thought we were talking 30th.
Oh, no, we're talking about May, May
You want to have like a
7th.
backup date in mind for him, just in case.
So other than that, in that week, that's the only day. I mean, unless you guys want to do a Friday, right? You're not available Monday. He's not available
Well,
Wednesday.
Mondays, if it's on
She's-
Zoom, I
Yeah,
could do.
can do
I just can't do
Wednesday.
it in person on a Monday.
Yeah,
I
I
can
can
do
do
Zoom.
Wednesday.
You could do Zoom on
Yeah.
Monday.
I can do Wednesday if everybody else can.
I just don't have
Huh?
time.
Tuesday and Wednesday is good for me.
The Tuesday, Wednesday is good.
Easiest days, but
Okay,
For this, yes.
so Monday,
Monday's hard,
Yeah,
for me, but
Monday.
I
don't-
can work something out if that's the day that's best for everyone.
Okay.
That's
Is,
part of it.
oh, wait. Shirley, you
Yes.
said
That's-
Thursday is not good, so Wednesday's okay?
Wednesday's okay.
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 Alvin, is that okay? What's good for you?
Are we doing on the week of the sixth then? or-
Yeah, the week of the sixth. Right now it's either May 7th or May 8th is the backup.
Oh, well, actually, the seventh works for me.
The 7th works for you? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be the target date. Okay. So May 8th is our backup date, so, okay. So then the C37, which is the week after, so what date are you guys not available?
Sorry, could we just, so this is the town hall, and we're putting it in for which day? I just want to make sure that
May 7th.
for May seventh. Okay.
The target date is May 7th.
Okay.
The
It's no
backup
longer
day is
April
May-
11th. That's gone.
Yeah, forget April,
11th
yeah.
is Gone.
Uh-huh.
I can make any of those.
So, okay, so any day of the week of the 13th is good for you?
So the C37.
7, yeah, uh-huh, yep.
Okay.
So
Wednesday,
what,
maybe?
huh?
Following week of Wednesday. 15,
That's not good for you?
that's good for me.
15's good, okay. 15?
15, fine. 15's
Fine?
Fine, okay, that's fine.
And this is again like 7 o'clock?
Yes,
Doesn't that usually start earlier, Dr. Mike?
or 6:30, right?
Let's see, 37.
Honestly, I
It
don't.
could be-
I know,
it could
we
be
started
either
early
or.
last year.
But it's virtual.
That actually started earlier in the day, like when
Right.
we did the AP and the principal, so that's why I was just asking.
So yeah, this is a
I
different
don't care.
scenario. I've done a lot of C30s for principals and APs. I've never done a C37 for a soup, so I don't know exactly how or what time they organize.
Yeah, they might tell us we have to do it a little earlier, that's the only thing.
Yeah, for the.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, I would imagine they have to organize around you, around parents, so,
Or two.
Okay.
That's what.
It was suggested at 6:30.
Okay.
C37 is related to the town hall, right?
The hiring process. It's a presentation, I believe.
Presentation.
So Wednesday, May 15th is good for everyone?
And you said 6:30?
Yeah. Do you want to give me a backup date?
Pick a day.
14.
The 14th?
Got a Tuesday over here.
Tuesday, okay, Tuesday is the backup, the 14th. Okay,
I don't want to say it.
all right.
Oh, we are aiming for 15 though, right?
Yes,
Okay.
15th is the target, yeah. Okay,
And once he confirmed with us, and then we're gonna know for sure.
Yeah. mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. I do business. Any other new business?
I have a question.
Yeah.
We talked about 2 months ago, forming a subcommittee of regarding about like, the school project with the SC.
For SEA?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, certain projects we submitted last year and this year we submitted, but we don't know what's going on really, what's happening, because I visited Bell Academy and when I, sorry.
So you want to,
169.
169, yes. And then they were also asking me, the principals were asking me what is going on with any updates, because they were
Oh, the
selected.
yeah,
They
the
were
recommendation,
selected,
okay.
but nothing was done. And they
Okay.
want to get the update, and they tried
Updates,
to reach
okay.
out to SEA, but they didn't get anything.
all right,
So,
thank you
Great
for the
reminder.
reminder. Okay. I'll send an email and ask what happened with, with our recommendations and if any of our recommendation was selected. Okay,
it seems like nobody knows, so.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier.
oh,
Like, hey, how do we know? Like,
okay,
what's the update? So that's actually a good question.
okay. Are there anything else?
Actually, I
Yeah.
just wanna follow up on. Are we required to have like a subcommittee to discuss like moving forward with this size issue and also upcoming about mayoral control.
No, we don't have to have a subcommittee, okay? Because well, we're here for our district, right? Mayoral issue, that's a citywide issue, right? We can either, I personally, or you personally, you can either for mayoral control or against mayoral control, depending on your own, like what your knowledge of the background of, how mayoral control came about, right? The history, the history before mayoral control, not everyone is for, not everyone is against, right? So, I have been contacted, right, putting forward a resolution. I don't know how everybody feels because I don't know everybody's knowledge of what they know or don't know about this issue. Same thing for small, the class size reduction act, right? I've sent you guys articles and, like emails here and there. I don't know how many of you, look into it. So same thing. I don't know how many of you are against class size reduction or for. With class size reduction, no one is against, okay? No one is against, right? It's the process the process implementation of this class size reduction act that a lot of people are disagreeing about, right? So again, I've been approached by other CECs to put forth resolution. Right now, the general consensus is to push DOE to implement, right? Have this plan in effect ASAP because otherwise we could be fined, right? If we don't have this in place by a certain date, right? So,
I know we haven't pushed for a resolution yet because I know that us members, we have, not everybody, has really fully suggested anything or voiced their opinion. But I think as a responsibility of the CEC is to make sure that we let the parents know that these issues are coming up. And regardless of whether we put in a statement or a resolution, have the parents be aware and probably want to voice their opinions on it. But not like
Is that something that would like kind of be sent more to the school level though?
it's,
well,
For like schools to just like, hey, this is what's going on? Or is it something that we
well,
would,
it's
where would we
not
push that out?
really,
really?
because the school responsibility is not to say either or on
Yeah,
a,
So
on it.
class size is not, is something that, listen, I think there may be some that are not aware of it, but it's been pretty much out, it's been out there for quite a bit now in terms of the legislation. I know Senator Lou has been here a number of times. Even prior to any of the conversation happening, he was talking about it with the CEC. And then what it means over time. So in terms of the 5-year expectation, we're in year 1. The goal is that 20% of schools between the beginning to the end of that 5-year period to then progress to the space where we're able to comply with the expectations of the legislation. That's what the goal is, for New York City in regards to the legislation. The how will certainly over time impact conversations that you would wind up having here at the CEC. Because as you guys know, we have new schools that are going to be opening. We have one that was kind of, the rendering was shared in terms of Colden. That's right in the middle of, a location where we have other schools, so conversation around who goes there will obviously be part of a conversation that winds up, picking up steam as that building starts getting developed. So those conversations still to come, but more seats, just keep in mind, more seats are coming into the district to help support some of these conversations, aside from, the the pretty good number of schools right now that although District 25 does have, you know, schools that may have utilization rates that are high, we do have a number of schools that would be able to comply with that legislation right now, like today, you know, so it becomes a, you know, the overtime of meeting the expectations of the legislation, you know, as a district community. So more to follow. I mean, we're still at the spaces of organizing and planning for it. So.
But is it a matter of hiring, like, 'cause I know at my son's middle school, like, they had much lower enrollment this year. So, and they could have maybe met class size law this year because they had empty classrooms in the 6th grade. So then why weren't those teachers, if, you know, we have 5 years to do it, so why maybe didn't we just do it this year if there was space to do it? With the empty classrooms, because they didn't have high enrollment as usual, because they didn't have the budget to hire the teachers. Was
So,
that-
yeah, so part of those things does come with, you know, allocations and how do you organize it to make sure that, you know, that the staffing is there to support, you know, the smaller class sizes that you do need. You know, so because this is the beginning, still relatively, you know, earlier in the phases, there's a lot more things that do need to happen over time to get to eventually that 100% space, which is what they're looking for over time. So it's, you know, it's going to be an overtime conversation. It's not you know, year one, we're going to be able to comply with the 100% space. But I think over time, it will mean a number of things. It will need a lot more teachers, you know, that's pretty clear. It will need funding to support those teachers, you know, for sure, which would include the hiring process of ensuring that we have enough teachers to sustain the expectations of what this class size law is talking about. So, yeah.
And just to clarify, on the resolutions as a body, if we put forward a resolution and when, as you were saying, we don't know where people's positions are, well, then you vote on that, thumbs up or thumbs down. So then you've now formulated whatever your view is on that particular resolution. That resolution then goes where? I mean, it's just a statement that
Yeah,
we're making. It's not,
yeah,
it doesn't change anything, but it's a position paper essentially.
right.
From the Community Education Council,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's basically what winds up happening. The
Mhm.
resolutions sent from here to, you know, to central offices around.
As a
what your
position paper
What your
of-
position is as a
Yeah.
CEC, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
same thing with the mayoral control. There has been a lot of public hearings in, you know, in the 5 boroughs. And there, you know, there's different opinions.
Yes.
So same thing on that. I mean, that's why, you know, as, you know, there's how many of us? A lot, 10 of us, right? And not all of us will, you know, make, you know,
Sure.
how would we put forth a resolution if we're not all in agreement, right?
Well, and again, maybe I'm just trying to understand the process. So like, say I put forward a resolution, I write it, and then the body votes on it and you either, it gets accepted or not. Isn't
Yeah.
that how it works?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I think that's, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. I just don't want to put forth a, you know, come with a resolution and where I know that half of us is for and half of us is against, and we're voting, how many times are we going to vote on it?
Right.
On some, that would be just wasting our, you know, our meeting time.
What's the point? Who cares, but I mean, I think our time, your point would be better spent making sure that our quote unquote constituents, or like say the parents, understand the issue and they can make their voices heard on the issue, because 10 of us,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think five and five probably is what's gonna happen. But even if it's not, even if it's all 10 of us, who's gonna, I don't think that's gonna move the needle very much. I think our time will be better spent maybe figuring out some kind of, and I don't know what that is.
Informing
You can
people.
figure it out.
Yeah, like a brain.
Yeah, but like, yeah, more of an
Presentation.
education type thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that, you know, Senator Lou has offered a number of times to just kind of share his perspective of what the legislation is. You know, I don't want to speak for him, but I know that he's been here
Yeah,
many times
But I
to
think at this point,
talk about it, but
right now we're in a period where we're waiting for DOE to come, forth with a plan on implementing this act, this new law, right? So, bringing in Senator Lou, he's not really gonna tell us much because he, put this into law. He's gonna tell us the same, that he's waiting for DOE to put forth a plan. So,
Limbo right now.
yeah, he's in limbo.
I'm really
also.
talking about more about the mayor. coalition.
The mayor-
really understood
I
why-
don't even, who would
just-
be best to come in to give us a,
Clear, like a
Thanks.
presentation
know,
of what is
He's
really.
not gonna come.
I met with him with, Al, right? So he said, I'm perfectly willing to modify, make amendment to my law.
wait, which one? Mayoral, mayoral control or class size?
That's all class size.
Oh, see,
No,
so
we're
we
talking
moved
about-
on already.
That's not-
That's what you see on that. The mayor shouldn't have any control over school system, because it should be the Board of Education, not the department.
See, everyone different, so I don't know who to bring in to talk about mayoral control. Because,
Because they want the money. It's not about the money.
Mm.
That's true.
You should have a chancellor who doesn't report to the mayor, if that's what's right for the
So-
children.
it's,
Who could speak? With
Didn't say-
neutral mind.
Well, didn't Senator Lou also have a grasp of this history and, pre-Bloomberg, after Bloomberg? I thought
Yeah,
he
he
was
said,
kind of-
on mayoral control?
Was given in 2000.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why they've had a number of these open forums for members of the community to be able to engage in these conversations around mayoral control, because I do think that there are folks that do have opposition, but there are folks that even though that are for it, that have some of the things that they would like to say, that even with it, these are some of the adjustments that we would like to make as part of this process of mayoral control, which began, a couple of decades ago, when it was kind of organized. So, I think, part of those conversations are around, a lot of those things are accessible too. I mean, those are things that are out there. It's not as though it's not available to hear what the perspectives are from communities across New York City that have heard the same exact space of a town hall, to kind of get an idea of what it's really all about. So if you yourselves are uncomfortable with the conversation, there are resources that are accessible to kind of make sure that you're familiar with all of the expectations within it. For those that have some of those that opposition, doesn't mean that you're going to agree with the opposition, but it'll at least give you some context around someone else's perspective on it.
Maybe we could just put that out, or that, where people can get that.
Those resources.
Yeah, because I don't even, I didn't even know where to get it, and then that quote unquote article that you sent out was not much, wasn't much reporting there, it was more of like an editorial, as far as I was concerned. But I mean, that's the first thing I had even read about it, you know what I mean? So I had to do a little more research. But like to know where to go to like even hear these discussions. Maybe that's the best thing we can do for our community, because I'm not an expert on it, and I don't like to hear that is. Besides you. Have a debate.
Yeah, and they've had many town halls that I know that the mayor has been part of over the past several months. I'm pretty sure that there's access to what was presented during those sessions to get an idea, just for you guys, just to listen in on.
yeah.
I would
there are
imagine they were recorded
there are
so
recordings of the
that you
public
could
hearing.
hear
Yeah,
what it is that those various perspectives are from not just a single community,
Yeah.
because every community has their own sense of
yeah.
what their beliefs are. So I do think it's important that
If
you
you're
have a little bit
if
of
you're
that knowledge
interested
base,
in
because
the
they're
public
accessible.
hearings, I'll find the recordings, because it was, I actually virtually joined the one that was happening in Queens.
I mean, I think I can, well, I mean, that would be great. I'll look at anything you send me, but you don't have to, I mean, I can probably do research myself. But I mean, I'm sure there's people, there's parents that are not even like tracking the issue. You know what I mean? So don't even know to look. And then when they decide that they want to look, they don't know where to look. I mean, it could be as simple as like just having this conversation now, right?
Mhm.
At a meeting, an open meeting.
And what is the body that's ultimately going to decide whether there is or isn't mayoral control? Because
Well, it was-
it sunsets this summer.
This summer, well, so.
And then
It's the state.
the state, so Senator Lou in company will make the decision.
It doesn't matter, they're gonna have mayor control, doesn't matter how many open meetings they have, they already made up their mind, this is what they told me about.
Yeah, but it's still,
Look at the NDA,
yeah, probably, but it's still like how for me.
they already made up their mind.
I will, I'll reach out to, Sujan and see if Senator Liu will come at our next meeting. To give us, talk about both issues. Oh, okay.
That'd be awesome.
Is this by the legislature then, New York State legislature that gives the mayor the
Control or not.
control, yeah, or is
Well,
that-
it was, this whole idea of mayoral control was presented by Mayor Bloomberg,
Right,
right? And
in 2000.
in 2002.
And then
So
it
it's
gets
been
approved by the
20
state. So
Yeah.
that's ultimately who, from perspective of the state, they kind of grant mayoral control, which is what has been happening since the Bloomberg era up until now. And
Yeah.
certainly over the last couple of iterations, there have been more and more conversations about this that have come up. Which is why last year, I believe, was given the extension to now it's sunsetting at the end of this school year to then be determined whether or not mayoral control will in fact continue. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of kind of that space. So it's got to be approved. It's not just that it's got to be approved for it to continue in that
Yeah,
way.
because if it's not approved, then how's it gonna be, right, moving forward, right?
do they go back? the
Because
old
then,
way, or-
exactly, it seems like no one has any plans, right? No one have, so everyone's in the dark. So it does seems like they will, I personally feel, okay, that's just my opinion, okay, that they will approve and continue with the mayoral control. I mean, unless I'm wrong, maybe tomorrow or next week, they'll come up with like, oh, what would happen if, we're not going to extend mayoral control, right? But, can't put the whole school, all of the school district in a limbo, right? Yeah, so
That's why they're gonna stay with mayor control.
that's how I feel also. Okay.
More than half of the board that voted on it. We're all appointed by him now.
Yeah, so, okay, so I'll email Senator Liu's office and invite him to our next meeting. Okay. Does anyone have anything else or anyone want to move to adjourn the general meeting? Okay, Eden, motion to adjourn, Joseph, Alvin, second. Okay. So the April general meeting is hereby adjourned. It's 9:08, 9:09 PM. Thank you to those on Zoom for joining us this evening. Do you guys want to move right into the business meeting? Okay.
I gotta get up at 4:30, so yes.
Oh, 4:30? Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are going to. Okay, who else is on this?
They can stay.
They could stay? Okay. I mean, business meeting, I don't think, is there anything else you guys want to discuss on? I mean, I think I was gonna wait until the business meeting to go over the dates for the town hall, but we discussed that, so there was nothing much. Oh, yes, the Joe Kessler Award, recipients.
Hold on, we're gonna go through roll call again.
Oh, okay. Roll call. Oh, so, the April, CEC business meeting is now called to order. It's 9:10. Roll call, please.
Wingyu,
Present.
I'm present. Frank Chow,
President,
Joseph Chow,
president.
Bob Razor,
Present.
Alvin Hung,
President.
Sung Yun Lee,
Present.
Catherine St. Pierre, John Stewart,
Present.
Karam Kashid,
Present.
and Jocelyn's not on anymore. Okay, she was on for a little bit. Okay. Okay, good.
Okay. So you have a candidate
I
for,
wanted to bring up somebody that we kind of discussed last year. And he kind of shot it down at the time because he was on our meetings and in meetings. But Joe
oh,
was somebody that we had talked about a lot last year
mhm.
and still does come to things and stay involved. So I just thought
Are
he'd be
we
a nice
allowed
person
to
bring up.
you give the award to someone? I mean, can we just give the award to anyone that we want to? I mean, because now Joe doesn't have a role in the district anymore, so.
Is there any, like,
Oh, former President Joe.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah, yeah,
lost
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
Joe.
yeah.
he
I
better
was like,
know.
this Joe, and I
But
wasn't
last
sure.
year, a few of us had asked about giving it to him and he was one of the people we were going back and forth with.
Okay.
But he was like, he kind of bowed out of the conversation because it was like a little awkward, but I know we did discuss it and that's why I was asking if that's something that we can revisit or
I
not.
think it's a good idea.
I think so too.
Yeah, he served many terms.
Yeah, and we're gonna give it to him, but he said no.
No.
He said
See,
no.
he's not here to
Okay.
He's like,
object.
"No,
Yeah, I can't say no.
Is there any rules that it has to be somebody that's,
I don't,
I
I don't
wouldn't
know
know.
that there
I
were,
don't know.
any real rules that were established there to kind of say that, the who in terms of that. Listen, you'd certainly never hear an objection from me in any way about that, because I think he really helped support and work with the district for a really long time.
Mhm.
Put in a lot of his own time to help support District 25. So if that was a choice that you made, you know, there's nothing in there that says that it couldn't be someone who's no longer,
Yeah,
no longer has a child in the district.
okay,
So I don't know that there's anything that says you can't, but that's what you guys so chose to do.
yeah, I don't know what the, parameters around that.
And the idea is that it is someone in a leadership role opposed to like a PE teacher or a coach or something.
It's really about building, it was kind of designed from, when Joe Kessler retired, was that, we kind of, with the CEC at the time, organized an award just because he was constantly present. Joe Kessler as a member, not a member of the CEC, but he was always here as a U of T member, but also as a teacher in one of our schools. And very much connected to a lot of expectations and showing his leadership. So it kind of was an outgrowth of all the things that he did for the district, which is why it was created. And then thereafter, whoever was kind of nominated was nominated in the process just because of CEC and what they felt was important to recognize at the time. So I do think that he certainly, well deserving of such a recognition.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to do that for someone that is not necessarily still tied to a school, that's the decision for you guys to kind of organize around.
Yeah, and not all of us here knows.
yeah.
Joe. That's so,
I mean,
I certainly
well,
know.
yeah,
He goes to Better Body Boot Camp every morning at 6 a.m.
I know his personal schedule.
Good for him, Dad. I am
Only because
certainly,
my wife's there.
I am certainly not
They work
doing
out
that for
together.
myself, but.
I will email another name also to the
Okay.
group.
all
I
right.
know also, I mean, there was Paul Malone helped the district a lot and, we passed earlier this year. I know they're honoring him with over at Bell Academy in 169, and they're renaming the school for him, but he did do a lot to help the district and help the schools, and I don't know if his name would come up at another point in May, but just something.
The hard part about this award is that if I bring up a name, maybe not.
But if you.
Well,
give
you'd have to
no,
advocate for the name.
But yeah,
We
but you have to,
advocate for the
yeah,
person.
you have to let us know who this person is.
What they've
if
done,
he's-
things like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
if he or she, huh?
I have a second name, I just can't discuss right now.
Didn't we try to nominate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I said I
what
can't discuss right now.
So the other person is,
I was gonna email that. But Joe kind of messed that up.
oh,
You can't see me.
Stop pointing at me.
um, we still have some time to, you know, decide who the recipient, or if you have a candidate, you know, you could also, you know, let the council know. If you feel that, you know, maybe the principal or assistant principals, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would just, again, that's what I was trying to understand the spirit of the award is like, I mean, I'm most familiar with the Bell Academy and Coach Mashar, who's over there. And I've seen what that school has done with athletic programs before him and post him. And it's amazing. He's doing the city lacrosse and they got an amazing basketball team. And he just brought a baseball team, which when my older son went to the school, there was none of that. When my younger son went to that, there was everything there. And it was a function of his leadership under the principal's support, I guess your support as well. But I saw just a dramatic change in 4 years, pre him and post him. So but that's one school that he's impacting with a lot of programs, not
Yeah.
the district.
So Eden's gonna start an email.
Sorry.
And then, you know, in the email, if you decide that you have someone that you want to nominate, you know, put it in the email.
A
And
little bit about them. So I-
yeah,
Sure.
Write
give
that
a description. And then at the next month meeting, we can vote on these candidates, okay?
So one of the other things, just Wendy, just for everyone, just to be aware of, and because many of you were not necessarily part of previous award ceremonies, is that they always kind of organize around who's going to be do the reading of the names, who is going to distribute the awards that come from it. Just something for you guys to be mindful of, if that's something that you're okay with doing. Just to start organizing around that so that it doesn't get too late too soon.
Yeah.
And then
We
you're
have to
worrying
split
about
the
on the
list of
day of
schools.
who's going to do the reading of the names.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not, you know,
I would say,
reading of names doesn't sound too difficult until you're facing 250 people and
Last
you
year,
now have to read them.
Shirley
So you just
kinda
have to
made it a
feel
little
like
easy
you're
for us,
comfortable with
though.
it.
She kind of just put our names next to some of the schools
Yeah.
and that we were like assigned, okay, you're gonna read off these. Okay, you're gonna read off these. And it was just like we flowed through it as we went.
So as long as you're comfortable with it and whoever's comfortable with doing that, just to start getting the mindset around the
I
two
was
is
just
important.
going to suggest, you know, whatever your school liaison, that would be yours, you know.
Also,
That
for
works
last
too.
year, the award ceremony, we did receive the names. You know, the school, that they have to nominate the students.
Uh-huh.
We received the names, around March.
Around
We
March,
got kind of March towards
No,
like.
not March.
that early?
It was early.
We did
No,
it earlier, but we
asked
can have a quick
schools to
turnaround. We could,
nominate
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Yeah, like only
you don't get the names until
April.
May. Like,
Yeah, we have a quick turnaround. From our end, we'll be able to help turn that around pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's really not an
Only
issue.
because we have to make an order in March. That's why I think
Mhm.
we kind of have to figure out how much we have to order by March. That's why we kind of rushed.
Yeah.
last year.
March is gone.
So what I'm saying is what you can see, just because of the circumstance, whether or not they would grant you an exception to spending some funds, because the
Yeah.
your administrative assistant's is no longer here. She
Okay.
left within the window of being able to spend the money to do that. So that would be definitely a face question. Because we don't have access to any of your
Yeah.
allocation at the district level in that regard, so whether they chose to grant it and then we can help, that's a different story, but we don't have physical ability to help you with that unless, you know, we're granted access to it, but because it's two separate spaces, that's really not our.
Okay. Anything else?
so tomorrow I'm gonna be emailing schools about the Queen Zoo event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be giving them the number of tickets that we shared at last meeting
Mhm.
and just giving them instructions on. They can choose the families if they want to participate,
Mhm.
based on whatever criteria they set, and then they're gonna be reporting the names of those families back to the district, and then we're gonna work with Wendy to send the tickets to those families.
Okay.
Be-
Louis, I have a question.
Yeah,
If we're gonna be there with children, do we have to now let them go to the school, or is there a separate bucket for us
so
with our kids?
we saved 50
50.
tickets.
Okay,
So that should cover the CEC, you guys, your families, and like the district team or the district team.
okay,
And then any, things we need to cover, for whatever reason, stuff like
Okay,
that. So we're
thank
gonna be
you.
watching that, yeah. So that email is gonna go to schools tomorrow, and I'll make sure Wendy's BCC'd on them, just so you can see those communications.
Okay.
I've also been spamming you guys with emails during this meeting, okay, every time Wendy.
Oh, yeah, I saw a few of them.
something. So
Oh,
I sent you the recording from last year's ceremony, June
Okay.
ceremony, so you can kind of see how that was. And I also sent you guys the letter that we sent to schools from last year, asking them to nominate
oh, okay.
students. This is stuff that you guys might not have seen last year because
Yeah.
Carly really dealt with it. So I sent that to you guys as well. Last year, we asked schools to nominate 3 students and 1 adult, 1 staff member.
Yeah.
To receive the CEC's award. So that can kind of tell you how much you need to order, because we're gonna assume that there'll be
Mhm.
3 students from each school and 1 adult.
Why
from each
didn't you
school.
guys just order extra for like upcoming
And there's
years?
always a little left,
Just a little bit more extra.
a little bit.
I
yeah.
told you that there's a restriction, it was
Oh.
crazy.
I see.
I was like,
And
okay.
I know in the past, we told schools that you should definitely nominate 3 kids and definitely nominate that 1 adult. So that number should be pretty.
Pretty solid,
set.
yeah. We usually wind up getting, from every school will submit their 3, and 1. That has been pretty routine. We've managed to get schools to send that number
Okay.
each
So
time,
if
so.
you guys can look at that email and tell me if it's good. I
Oh.
know the date of the June meeting, because that's gonna be the ceremony will be the June meeting date, right?
June
The
5th,
Wednesday.
yeah.
And we can TBD the location. You can just give the date, the location can always come later. But I do want to get that survey out to schools so they can start thinking about it. And they can start getting us the names, so you guys can divide the names up, you can start practicing the names. And all that stuff, okay? So if you think that letter the email is good, and we've used the same one year after year, but you can email me. During the week or next week, just let me know, if it's okay, if you guys have a chance to look at it.
Okay.
And I also sent you the recording from the 2022 superintendent town hall.
Yep, got it.
email,
Uh-huh.
So that you can watch that as well. Cool.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
And we'll make the certificates for the June award ceremony. Another thing that probably would normally do, you have to worry
she
about
did
that.
the
Oh, okay.
program last year also, because I remember having to help her line things up.
Oh,
So
so
we
you
take care
have,
of
so
that.
you have.
I don't have it
You don't have it.
anymore.
We will take care of the program.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Obviously, I don't have last year's program.
I could see if I can find when she sent it to me, but I know there was some lining up issues and some typos.
Yes,
time.
yes, I remember there being some names were missing or something, yes.
Schools that
we
were
will
middle schools were
definitely-
listed
we
as
will
public
definitely work
schools,
to avoid
Things
that.
like that.
Marissa on our team is really good with Canva, we can make a really nice document.
Mhm.
Of course, the CEC could tell us what they want included on the program,
Mhm.
the run of the event. Other than that, we can put something together for you guys to look at.
Oh,
That'd be
And
helpful.
also the certificates is a simple mail merge from
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a quick.
names of the
quick
students,
thing.
Oh,
that the
okay.
schools submit. So I'm not worried about that, but, we will do the certificates, you don't have to worry about that. Program is no problem, we have all the paper here, to print that, so you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, my
you.
signature is not the
Yeah,
nicest.
and again, we'll
We'll do the
try to
digital
find a
version.
school.
Okay.
Again, we can ask the
The
same
mail
school we
merge
did
version.
last year.
Or 237 or
But,
194.
Yeah, Dr. Mike, 237, they have a big auditorium?
It's, yeah, it's a good size auditorium. They have a good size
Just
auditorium.
thinking about different.
It's a different venue.
parts of different-
The only worry I have about over there is is the parking. By two
Yeah, I
thirty-seven
feel like that's something that comes up.
Where is?
is not
I
great.
mean,
It's
I'm
right
pretty
by
open with the greatest for parking either.
It's,
I'll be honest.
I mean,
right on what's it, Colden, right?
Oh.
yeah, it's
okay,
in,
okay.
it's closer to downtown Flushing.
Yeah.
They're down.
So
down that way.
The parking's not great.
Well,
Might be better at night.
we did that last year for the town.
Yeah,
hall,
we did the town
For the
hall.
chancellor's town hall.
I mean, I guess. we
So only,
did.
I had shared 194 only because the auditorium is brand new and
Yeah.
it is beautiful. You know, so,
Additionally-
If they have the seating capacity,
and around the building, you know, in the evening, it's not an issue with parking. It is be parking around the
Yeah.
entire
Over there,
building.
yeah.
yeah, like,
It's more
Um,
residential.
You know, I don't know that the neighbors will love the idea of all the cars, but
Feel it over here.
but you know,
I think our neighbors won't mind too much.
but you know, it's but it's they do have it's something that was just completed. I think it was early this school year that it was just done. It's really, really nice. We had our cyberbullying training there with the NYPD, and it was just a really nice auditorium. The only thing that I'm wondering is just seat capacity, because
Yeah.
for a middle school that is pretty large, it's not an overly large auditorium. So I'd have to kind of really see seat capacity, whether or not it would be able to sustain not only all of the award recipients, but the parents that come along with it, you know,
Yeah,
so.
we
The auditorium
typically,
situation
we
at West
typically
United
told,
Bell Academy.
we told, families.
They have a really nice auditorium too. It's just not big.
Not big enough.
yeah.
They don't have a big auditorium there.
We told families in the past, 2 adults per award winner. So if a child is winning, you know, the whole family of, 18 can't come, like just.
Yeah.
Adults. So 36 schools times 3 kids times 2 adults each is 216 people right there just on, not even including
And not
the
counting
kids.
staff that come in.
Just the adults.
Yeah.
Staff. If they might bring their spouse or their.
And it's really nice for the staff too. They do appreciate the
Yeah.
recognition too, so.
So just kind of keep that in mind that. That's kind of what the capacities we're looking at.
So basically, Louis, you're saying probably closer to like 300 in capacity at least.
Well, if it's 216 adults, then we have 100 kids.
Yeah, so over 300.
Yeah. And then that's not even including the teachers or.
Yeah, it's
staff
usually a
members that are
packed house.
nominated, They're,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it
pretty
was
full.
pretty
I
packed
think.
they're family members that might want to come. And we have the live stream, so we always tell family members, if grandma, grandpa can't make it because of the limits, they can watch on
Right.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Or watch the recording. So that's kind of, when we look at schools, that's kind of what we're looking at. Yeah. We don't want anything to be unsafe or anyone to be disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
What, and then, yes, MS 200, they have a nice stage, right? Wasn't, they were
They
very
do. I
large.
think they also run the risk of being too small of an auditorium. They don't have a huge auditorium. For me, we have a number of great spaces. It's just whether or not capacity wise they can
Yeah.
Yeah.
handle the number of people. So the reasons why we wind up going to 185 and 25 all the time is because they have larger auditoriums than others, so we can just handle the capacity.
You mentioned 185.
But
I know we haven't done that like the last year or so. Is
Yeah, we could
185 an
do-
option?
Yeah, is 185 an option?
yeah, I mean, they're always an option. I feel bad that we tap on their shoulder all the time, but
Oh, really?
oh yeah, if it's not
Oh,
for something from CEC,
Oh.
we at the district wind up
Oh,
having
I
bigger
see.
events there.
I see.
Spelling bee was there. We have a number of things that we wind up posting
Yeah.
at 185, but I will check the capacity at 194 to see if it's accessible. Otherwise, we can go to one of our old reliables if that works for you.
Okay.
Just to, make sure that it's, they've been great. Our principals are great with that.
Yeah.
They'll be well
Yeah,
planned.
we'll get some numbers tomorrow
Okay.
and I'll reply to my email planning for with those things and then we can kind of.
Plus, I think it's just nice to be able to get out to a different
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah,
Host
that's what I was
something
thinking
at a
about.
different
because, yeah,
space.
See a different
And it's
floor.
funny, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
picture the auditorium for 2007.
It's to the right. As soon as you walk in, it's right to the right.
Yeah, I don't think we've been in there.
Yeah.
So I can't think of the size, but I already emailed Janine to see, she's my
Mhm.
back end, but to see.
Oh,
if that-
thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
so on top of things. All
Like
right,
Dr. Mike said, we have to start.
Yeah, it's got to be mapped out,
yeah.
sooner
Planning.
rather than later. Otherwise, you know, it runs the risk of having a really nice event and it's not, you know, you don't feel prepared.
That's crazy.
All right, we don't have to be talking about these.
Counting it down now.
What's that? It's,
She's counting it.
From Friday.
We're late.
We're a little late this year.
Okay. All right, any,
Motion to adjourn.
okay, Eden made a motion to adjourn,
have to go to
John
sleep.
and Alvin second, okay. Okay,
I gotta get to bed.
so, April CEC business meeting is hereby adjourned. Our next meeting is Wednesday, May 1st, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you again for coming.
Do you want this?
Sign up for
So-
the late.
So I have to look back through.